So,
it's great that you mentioned caucus, because I do believe, I've been active in the industry for about 20 years now, and it's always underrated, the impact of, us getting our act together as independents, discussing the issues, and then going as a concerted effort to Washington and making that impact known. I see again and again comments back from state representatives and governing personnel who are always impressed with the people who come from the American Rental Association, and again, being in front of all the issues that might be coming down the road for the membership. So no question the value on the caucus. I'd love to continue to promote that if we can. We have to think of something where peer groups could get active more with that. But
it's not just on the national level. You'll see a lot of issues on the state level that that ARA has taken up with the members and gone through and fought for property taxes and different issues, and have been very successful in helping our members in those states.
Welcome to Peer Talk, a dialogue with business owners just like you. Peer Talk conversations run the gamut of business challenges facing owners today. The host of Peer Talk is Dan Crowley, founder and owner of Peer Executive Groups, which provides a safe space for owners to share their experience, grow their businesses, and learn from their peers.
Hi, this is Dan Crowley. We have a number of great owners in our peer group network, just like you, and our job is to give you a voice here on Peer Talk.
Today's podcast has Robert Pedersen as a guest. He is the president, owner of A Toolshed Equipment Rentals out of Northern California. They have about 8 locations in Northern California, and they have been in operation for 78 years at least. Robert is the recent nominee for president of the ARA.
Hi, this is Dan Crowley, and we are here with another edition of Peer Talk. And today we are very happy to have Robert H. Pedersen here from A Toolshed. And Robert is soon to be, fingers crossed here, president-elect for the ARA. And we're going to talk today about ARA Volunteer Leadership and what that means and how that's structured. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about where we think the industry might be headed and how the ARA is going to be participating in that going forward. So welcome to the program, Robert.
Thank you, Dan. Great to be here.
So Robert, you at A Toolshed, why don't you walk us through your organization, where it's located, how many locations, a little bit on the history?
Sure. A Toolshed started in 1945 by my maternal grandfather and grandmother back in Sunnyvale, California. Started out as a white elephant sales, kind of a Army surplus store that they started out with, but didn't last long. I think it was about 2 years into it. He started building concrete mixers out of axles from trucks and cars and washing machines. And little Briggs engine on them, and started renting those to people that needed them. And it kind of grew from there and changed into A Toolshed Equipment Rentals at that point. I'm the 3rd generation owner, and I've got 2 children currently in the business, my son Rob and my daughter Megan, that are, well, the 4th generation running the business.
Oh my goodness.
So we have 8 locations, and we're located in Silicon Valley area of California. So anywhere from Greenfield down by King City, Salinas, up to Santa Clara, Campbell, that area. So kind of spread out throughout Silicon Valley, Monterey County, Santa Clara County, San Benito County.
Outstanding. Wow. Good coverage. Yeah. So your organization, describe a little bit about your tool and equipment rental side. What is your typical category of assets look like, your inventory? How big do you go? Do you have everything that a construction company would need?
We do. We have most things now. We don't go to the really large stuff and try and compete on the large scale, but we go up to 60-foot booms, forward reach lifts, 5-yard dump trucks, a lot of skid steers, track and wheeled skid steers, all the way down to trailers and homeowner equipment, a lot of battery powered homeowner equipment now. used to be electric. I mean, gas.
Yeah. How about it?
Most of it's changing to electric. So we do have a lot of homeowner tools still.
Excellent. Well, and again, you're in a market in California where, obviously you lead the way for the rest of the country when it comes to what's happening with compliance as well as the equipment and the developments that take place in equipment. So we appreciate you. I know you've been in peer groups for a while, and obviously we value the California membership for that reason, if not a bunch of different reasons. But today we're here to talk about ARA Volunteer Leadership. And I think it's important as we continue to grow as peer executive groups, we are running across a number of non-ARA members, as well as ARA members who might not be familiar with the structure and the leadership structure, specifically as it comes from volunteers. So I've always been amazed at the association and the direct involvement with membership and how membership participates. So why don't you walk us through a little bit of the executive committee structure and how that works and your terms and things like that?
Sure. The executive committee is made up of the president-elect, president, chairman of the board, and then two other appointed members appointed by the president for that year, for that 1 year that the president is president. The president-elect, president, and chairman of the board. You start as president-elect, and it's a 3-year commitment. So you flow through one chair to the next until your term is up. Usually, to do that, you will have had to serve 3 years as a SIG chair or 3 years on the board previous to being nominated to be on the executive committee, and then if you're chosen to move into the president-elect's seat. So that's kind of how that's structured.
Excellent. And you guys provide direction with your meetings to the CEO of the organization. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, the board itself is the primary leader as far as pushing initiatives and things like that. And then the executive committee is kind of the follow through with the CEO to make sure that things are being done. And the CEO obviously oversees the staff to make sure it's done correctly.
Excellent. And yeah, we've had a nice inside view on that inside peer executive groups with obviously a number of members serving on that leadership committee, on the executive committee. Especially I consider and think about the period of COVID-19 when we had Beth Hoff-Blackmere very active and trying to hold the ship steady as that we were going through that period. Also, I do know, obviously, as the American Rental Association is kind of covering both the tool and equipment side as well as the party and event side. And you and I spoke previously about the SIG. So why don't we talk about the special interest groups?
Sure. There's two special interest groups. One is on the equipment side and one's on the event side. And within those, the chair position is a 3-year commitment. And then underneath them, they have a committee that they work with of members. And those specific groups come up with ideas and things that they feed to the board for approval and then for follow-up to make sure that they're done. Some of the things that have come out of that is on the event side, the tent ballasting program that has come out of that. On the construction side, we have a couple of new certification classes that have come out of that. So there's lots of stuff that goes through those committees that comes out and actual programs for the members.
Dynamite. Yeah, it reminds me of our customer council where we have representation on our 23 groups. And I do know a number of peer group members who are on that SIG committee. They have mentioned like, hey, it feels like a peer group, so they're able to talk openly about issues facing the industry specifically in their sect of rental, which is excellent. And then obviously I've had a chance to get out into the United States and visit different state associations, and I'm always amazed at how different they are, but yet the commitments levels are amazing. Things like ARA of Florida, and some of the great ones I've been to. I love ARA of Washington and some different ones like that. Tell us about the structure from the overall board standpoint and how that involves regions.
Yeah, there's 10 regions across the United States, including Canada. Region 10 is Canada. And they're broken up across the country, and there's several states within each region. And each region has a regional director. Again, it's a 3-year term. They are elected by the members through the slate process. They're nominated by the nominating committee. They usually have served on the state level at some point, whether they were a state board member or something like that, or they've gone to leadership. In November, the ARA does a leadership program, and they people that are interested can be nominated from there.
Interesting. And how does that look? So I know, John Scott, Dean Miller, some of these guys, they get out and they're, representing a region, and they're going to state association meetings. Is that basically it? They're creating a kind of a glue point between those states by participating and visiting those states?
Yeah, that's correct. They oversee.
Okay.
So the regional director kind of oversees the state and local chapters within their region.
Yeah.
So if the president of any of the state or local chapters has an issue or something like that, they have somebody to call and talk to. They also try to make sure that their region, the states within their region, are active and have enough volunteers and are doing things, and working with the staff at ARA if they need help on different things. So, and they will report back to the board how their region is doing, if there's any issues within their region, if there's any resources that need to go to their region, or if their region can offer anything to the ARA membership as a whole.
Outstanding. Quite a spider web of support. It's amazing. And it, again, volunteer driven. Really enjoy participating. I know I've been able to get out to the States and speak, and I hope to continue doing that. I'm heading up to Minnesota in a couple weeks here. So the initiatives from the ARA obviously come from the members. They identify next steps, where to go, what should we be focused on as an organization, just like any other administrative organization might be operating. What does that look like for those members who are not currently in the volunteer leadership mode? What are some of the issues that you see coming up over the next years, especially considering that you are soon to be president-elect?
Yeah, the hardest,
put you on the spot.
The hardest thing is finding volunteers, people that are willing to give up their time away from their family and their business to volunteer to help the association at large. We're constantly looking for volunteers that are willing to do that. Because it is a time commitment. Not that it's going to take up all your time, but it is time away from work and time away from family that you're working towards the association. Good example is caucus that we do in Washington, D.C. every year. You're in D.C. for 3-4 days. You spend that whole time working actually very hard, going around and visiting the representatives in the Senate and the House, and going over the issues that ARA has designated as concerns for the industry as at whole, whether it be on the event side or the equipment side or both. So
it's great that you mentioned caucus, because I do believe, I've been active in the industry for about 20 years now, and it's always underrated, the impact of, us getting our act together as independents, discussing the issues, and then going as a concerted effort to Washington and making that impact known. I see again and again comments back from state representatives and governing personnel who are always impressed with the people who come from the American Rental Association, and again, being in front of all the issues that might be coming down the road for the membership. So no question the value on the caucus. I'd love to continue to promote that if we can. We have to think of something where peer groups could get active more with that. But
and it's not just on the national level. You'll see a lot of issues on the state level that that ARA has taken up with the members and gone through and fought for property taxes and different issues, and have been very successful in helping our members in those states.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, just identifying some of the things in addition to the state level of activity that's going on, but identifying like, okay, what issues are we as operators facing? And, ARA has stepped up with a healthcare solution the last couple of years. Certainly they've been active with cybersecurity and theft and trying to be on the front end of that. So I'm sure you guys on your committees are addressing like, hey, what can we do next, right, regarding those topics?
Definitely. So
now you have the other thing is you have in the ARA, they have job portals, they have HR assistants. One of the items that I'm always shocked people don't realize is the legal assistance around human resources that is available, right? It's crazy. It's right on the website. You can get in touch with a law firm that specifically handles HR issues. And we have so many dialogues and conversations happening around that. I hope that the members continue to, get on that onto the ARA website, ararental.org, and check out the benefits available. Right. What do you see as, obviously we see Jeff Crotto coming in, taking over from Steve Mao. What do you think Jeff's going to be focusing on in 24? What do you see as ARA's future issues the next year or two?
Oh, I don't know what Jeff's going to focus on, but some of the issues is still definitely equipment electrification on the larger scale. So that's going to be on the equipment side. That's going to be a big one. I know we're currently working on a tent staking certification, similar to we did with the other ballasting. So the tent staking one's going to be coming out. A lot of safety issues. There's a lot of work around safety and certification on the ARA's part with the MUP certification that we're doing, and now we're doing the train the trainer. So equipment rental companies that have gone through this can actually train their customers and be compensated for it, and use the ARA's program as the industry standard. Let's put it that way, and that's what I to shoot for, is really making ARA's programs, getting them out there in front of people and have them become the rental industry standard, so that even Home Depot and United Rentals and whoever else, not just the independents, but the big guys too, will adopt ARA's programs as an industry standard and use them going forward. That's where I see ARA going in the future.
Yeah, and even the initiatives, like I think they've recently done something with the professional driver, like education, trying to, take that to the next step, what that might look like. We know the challenges from a peer group perspective involve employees and, drivers that they need to be able to move the equipment, and what's focused in terms of tent installation and the teams that they need to get out there to do the work. So for sure, how do you feel about, are there any concerns yet? Have there been conversations on the board level about the possible slowdown of volume for the industry and preparedness for that? Is any dialogue yet? I know the meetings right now, we're in September, probably had a light summer, but I know that there has been concern around the economy. Any talk of that happening on the committee levels?
Not really. There hasn't been yet. I mean, obviously everybody's following it on a different level. ARA did just a couple months ago redid their outlook. The ARA
that's right. Yeah, that was
outlook
adjusted. Yep.
was adjusted, but it actually looks better because of the way that it was perceived before with some of the numbers. So that was a good thing. So there hasn't been a lot of discussion about an economic downturn. I think more of the focus is going to be on the election coming up in 2024 on the national level than anything else, because that tends to drive economic shift one way or the other, depending on what's going to happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, again, we try to work in lockstep with the ARA on education and development of employees, provide opportunities for owners to grow through the peer executive groups. So we do value our partnership with the ARA as well. But we want to congratulate you again. I know it's a little premature, but I'm sure it's coming in the next. What is it, like about a month you're going to find out, or a couple of weeks?
September 28th, the slate approval will be completed.
Yeah.
So.
I defy that a dark horse will rise up and take over your spot. So I'm excited. And again, looking forward to serving you under your term. And appreciate you being on the show today. And looking forward to seeing you at your, well, I won't actually be at your peer group meeting, but I hope that you enjoy it. Do you guys know where you're going for your peer group meeting?
Yeah, we're down in Long Beach with Tony Murray's place.
Excellent.
So on their
American Rentals.
Yep.
Shout out to American Rentals. Will be hosting.
Yep.
Hopefully you'll have some fun in that area. But
I'm sure he's got something set up for us.
Well, we appreciate you, Robert, and thanks again and congratulations. And we'll check in with you soon.
Great. Thank you very much, Dan. It's been a pleasure.
You've been listening to Peer Talk from Peer Executive Groups, produced and directed by Noah Crowley and hosted by Dan Crowley. Subscribe to this podcast for notifications of future episodes of Peer Talk.